Hi everybody. So we've talked about different kinds of sentences. We've talked about simple sentences. We've talked about compound sentences, and we've talked about complex sentences. Okay, so we talked about simple with just one independent clause. Okay. We've talked about compound sentences with two or more independent clauses. And we talked about complex sentences with one dependent and one independent clause. Okay, so here's a big problem that a lot of people run into. All right, a lot of people run into a problem where they need to understand what is a run-on sentence. Because a lot of times you'll get a paper back and your teacher will say, hey, that's a run-on sentence. You say, well, what is a run-on sentence? I don't know. I don't know what a run-on sentence is, right? How am I supposed to know that? Okay, so a run-on sentence is a sentence with a run-on sentence is a sentence that has two independent clauses. All right, but then with two or more independent clauses, all right, with no connecting word, or punctuation. Okay, so, or a punctuation mark. So we could have, for instance, a sentence that goes like this. If we had a sentence that looks like this. I love to eat ice cream. Strawberry is my favorite. Well, that is a run-on sentence because I have one independent clause and I have a second independent clause. But the thing is, they're not connected by anything. Okay, they're not connected by anything. There's no connection. It's not, I love to eat ice cream and strawberry is my favorite. I love to eat ice cream, but strawberry is my favorite, comma. I loved, comma, but, comma, and. We don't have anything like that. We don't even have, I love to eat ice cream, semicolon, strawberry is my favorite. We don't have any of those things, okay? All that we have is, I love to eat ice cream, strawberry is my favorite. Well, that's a run-on sentence. Okay, another example of a run-on sentence is, I walk to school. I brought my lunch. Again, two complete thoughts. Complete thought and complete thought. Okay? But nothing connecting them. All right? So, two complete thoughts with nothing connecting them are run-on sentences. Okay? And if we have two complete thoughts that don't have any connector, that aren't connected by and, but, semicolon, anything, then they're run-on sentences. Okay? And let's see here. So if I want to fix a run-on sentence, I would just do something like this. I would add a conjunction. So I might say, I walked to school and I brought my lunch. Okay? So if you said, I walked to school and I brought my lunch, then that would be a complete thought here and another complete thought here, but it's okay because I have a conjunction. I have a connector word. Okay? I can also use something called a semicolon, which can join these two together. But when I have them and they're all by themselves, when they're just when there's just one and then the other with no connection, that's a run-on sentence. Okay? So I'm asking you to this week, and when you get a chance, hopefully soon, I'm asking you to give me a writing sample, okay, which just means a sample of your writing. And basically, you need to show me what you write, and I'm going to check to see if you have any run-on sentences or if you have any sentence fragments, okay? And I will check for run-on sentences. All right, the next thing I'm going to check for are called sentence fragments. All right, sentence fragments. So this might seem kind of obvious, but a lot of people do this incorrectly as well. Okay, so if we walk into a room and we say something, it has to be a complete thought. So a sentence fragment is not a complete thought. It has to be a complete thought in order for it to be a sentence. Otherwise, people will just think that you have more to say. So if I walked into the room and I said something like, if you have red hair, well, that's not a complete thought. It doesn't tell me anything complete. Okay? So that's a fragment. And the reason why it's a fragment is it's what's called a dependent clause. If I say I depend on you, that means that I rely on you. I can't do it without you. Okay? Okay, so if I can't do it without you, then if I'm a sentence and I can't do it without you, that means that I need an independent clause to go with my dependent clause. So a dependent clause is a clause that cannot stand alone. All right? So a sentence fragment is a sentence that cannot stand alone. Sentence fragment, sorry, not a sentence, it's a part of a sentence. It's a part of a sentence that cannot stand alone. Okay? So part of a sentence that cannot stand alone. So for instance, some examples, okay, of a sentence fragment. Let's say I have going to the beach well, that's a fragment. That's not a full sentence. So if I said, if I go to the beach, I should wear sunscreen. Well, that's a full sentence. That's a complete sentence because I have a dependent clause here, but then I have an independent clause here. I could walk into the room and I could say, I should wear sunscreen, and that would still make sense. That would be a complete thought. Okay? But if I just walked into my room and I said, if I go to the beach, that wouldn't be a complete thought. You would still be waiting. It's almost like you're having a ... after it. If I go to the beach, ... If I go to the beach, what? What's next, right? And that's how you know you have a sentence fragment. So what I want you to do is I want you to show me some of your own writing, and I will go through your writing, and I will tell you if you have any sentence fragments, if you have run-on sentences, if you have a correct complex sentence or a correct compound sentence, okay? Or a simple sentence, which you'll probably have without any problem. All right? And if you have a sentence fragment or a run-on sentence, then I will mark it. I will either circle it or I'll show you somehow, and I'll ask you to fix it. All right? So I will ask you to fix it. Okay. I will ask you to fix it. Okay? And then we'll go from there. All right, so we're going to do that and see how it goes. All right, keep working. Okay.